I had the whole island to myself. In the middle of one of the largest lakes in the world. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it so you too can be the king of your castle. Now, Malawi is a country in the southern part of Africa and is known as the warm heart of Africa. And I always wanted to go there, not only because of the people, but because of the nature, especially Lake Malawi, which is, again, one of the largest lakes in the world. And I had to see it for myself in person. So on this video, I'm gonna show you all the tools you need to maximize your trip without breaking the bank. I'm also gonna show you what not to do in Malawi, my favorite 2 facts and a fiction, and of course, the highlights of my trip in Malawi. And before we get started, I really appreciate if you can subscribe so you can get more content exactly like what you're gonna get, which is gonna make your experience incredible. Let's get ready for 2 facts and a fiction. Number 1, Lake Malawi has the most diverse fish and marine life in the world and includes sharks in Lake Malawi. Number 2, Malawi Gold is one of the best strains of weed in the world. And number 3, Malawi ranks in the top 10 of HIV and AIDS patients. Wait till the end to find out exactly which one of those was a fiction. Now, as an American going to Malawi, I was told that you have to get a visa before you go. But you know what? I read on some blogs and also on the State Department website that you can get one on arrival. So I kind of said, you know what? I'm going to wing it. And it worked out. I got to the airport. I was able to get my visa right there on arrival. Didn't take very long at all. Super, super efficient. In terms of getting around, now, I think one of the most important things you need to do is you need to get a guide. And I was very, very lucky because when I landed in Malawi, I was able to go straight to the tourist booth just to kind of get some information about what to do in Malawi, make sure that what I had kind of written down actually corroborated to a good trip itinerary. And the person I met there, Murphy, ended up being not only someone who gave me advice, but ended up being my guide. So it made all the difference in the world. I would highly, highly advise you to get a guide when you go there. In terms of money, one of the things in Malawi and a lot of parts of Africa is cash is king. And I should have brought more money with me, like at least $500, $600, $700. But I didn't, and I went and used an ATM machine. And for the first time in my life, I put in my card in the ATM machine. It said that it actually had, deducted from my account the money I actually withdrew, but I never got the money out of the ATM machine. So I filed a complaint with the bank. And when I got back to America, I had to also file a complaint with my bank. They reimbursed me, but it was a major pain. So I would highly, highly advise you to take cash because that's how you're gonna pay for gas, for your guide, entrance fees, all that kind of stuff. So bring cash with you. Check the weather because down in Malawi, you can end up in a wet season and it sucks because it's gonna be raining all the time. It's just not fun. I was kind of in the wet season, kind of at the tail end of it. So make sure that you monitor that. Again, the dry season typically is gonna be over the summer and into the fall. And then the wet season's obviously fall over the winter and so forth. So you wanna make sure that you land and you go there when it's not gonna be raining all the time because it won't be fun. So in terms of flight, I was already in South Africa and I flew from Cape Town to Johannesburg and then from Johannesburg to Lilongwe. And it was an easy flight, nothing too crazy. Wasn't that cheap, but wasn't that bad because South Africa has a lot of budget airlines. So I would recommend maybe that as a route to go through South Africa to get to Malawi or through Kenya because Kenya is just a great, great place and the airport is phenomenal to use to get to many parts of Africa, including Southern Africa. Here are the 5 don'ts of Malawi. Number 1, do not bank on ATMs because they may malfunction. Bring cash with you. Number 2, do not kind of put your head down and not be vigilant when crossing streets and being in traffic areas because the roads are not great. There is very little traffic lights and it could, result in a dangerous situation for you. Number 3, don't kind of wing the trip to Malawi. You want to have a local guide. You want to have someone local that can kind of show you the ropes and show you the way because it'll make the trip so much better. Number 4, dress modestly. The country is very conservative in a lot of ways and very religious. So you don't want to kind of wearing things that are not going to be modest. You want to be, being careful of that for cultural purposes. Don't get frisky in public. Again, the country is conservative and that is very, very, very frowned upon. I want to kind of share with you guys my main highlights of my trip to Malawi. And caveat, I didn't go north, I didn't go south, I kind of stayed in the middle, and my trip was only about 3-4 days total. But still, I had a lot of awesome highlights that I want to share with you guys. When I got to Malawi and I met Mervy and I kind of told her about my, like desire to see the world and I like running in every new place, she told me that that day there was a group of people, part of the House Hash Harriers, it's a freaking tongue twister, that exists. It's a club that exists all over the world. It's basically a drinking club with a running problem, as they call themselves. And they go running every week around a different area of Lilongwe and so forth. And so on this particular day, it's kind of raining. We were outside of the outskirts and it was just so random because we're running through these like fields and into these little villages. And it was just so awesome because it was such a great way to kind of feel the warmth of the people. I saw an incredible rainbow. That was just awesome. I would say that was such a highlight and such a great way of kind of welcoming me to Malawi. The other thing that really kind of stood out is I went to the local market with Mervy. That was kind of giving me a taste of another side of Malawi and Lilongwe. This market had all the produce you can imagine, super packed. We went there actually, not only to see it, but Mervy's shoe kind of fell apart at one point during the day. So we went there and got a guy to kind of stitched it all together for her. And there was just everything you can imagine, produce, electronics, all kinds of goods, but a really nice kind of experience and exposure to another side of Malawi. Another experience, and I have to say one of the major highlights was going to Mumbo Island. The idea was that Mumbo Island is kind of off the coast of Cape Maclear. It's about 40 minutes by like fisherman boat, and it really, really cool. It took us like 5 hours to trek across the country. But when we got to the kind of coastline and took the boat across, you could immediately feel a sense of calm and relief. And it was just such a beautiful lake. Like, look, the lake is called Calendar Lake. It's about 360 miles long, 52 miles wide. There's 12 tributaries that kind of feed into the lake. So again, Calendar Lake, it's huge, and one of the biggest lakes in the world. And when we got to the island, because it was off season, we had the whole thing to ourselves. And so the way that you want to kind of plan that trip, that experience is, again, find a guide or someone local, make sure that they call in advance and book you a place, because there are only like 5 or 6 spots in Mumbo Island, and bring your food with you. We brought our food with us and they would cook it for you. So we had the whole place to ourselves. They cooked for us, they took care of us. I went kayaking, snorkeling, hiking. It was just absolutely stunning, which leads me to the kind of moment. And I'd have to say the moment was in Mumbo Island, and it really was twofold. It was night and day. But at night, we saw some incredible stars. The sky was so clear. In fact, what they say also about the lake is it's called Starry Lake because they have fishermen out there because it's so clear you can see for miles, and they've got their lights as they're fishing at night. But the sky was so clear. It was absolutely stunning. And in the morning, I remember I woke up super early. I think I was still jet lagged. I woke up and I saw the sun rising over the lake at like 5 in the morning, and it was just pure magic. And then I went and took a shower underneath a bucket next to a huge granite rock. And it was just like, what can I tell you? It was absolutely amazing. Just such a great experience to be there in Mumbo Island. I think Malawi, in terms of my rankings, from definitely must go all the way to avoid, I would definitely say consider going and adding Malawi to your bucket list because it is such a cool place. Again, the people are so warm. There's so much to see. You can see wildlife. There's like gaming out there. Again, Lake Malawi, the mountains, the hikes. It really is absolutely stunning. It's super green because the country is so dependent on agriculture and subsistence farming. So I would definitely recommend that you go to Malawi. I would definitely put it as a consider to put it to your bucket list. Now, the answer you've been waiting for with the 2 facts and a fiction. Yes, Malawi Gold is one of the most famous and most highly sought after strains of weed. I don't smoke, I don't know much about it, but I do know that people definitely flock or use it and flock over there to do it, even though be careful because it is illegal and you don't want to get in trouble smoking weed in Malawi. The other fact is the reality, sadly, that Malawi does rank in the top 10 of people with AIDS, and that is the case with a lot of Southern African countries as well. And so here is the fiction. Even though Lake Malawi is one of the most diverse in terms of marine wildlife, they do not have sharks since it's a freshwater lake. Well, I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes of Malawi. If you have any questions or comments, please post them in the comments below. I take a look at all comments. I literally personally reply to them, and I want to create a community with you. So make sure that you post any comments or suggestions or questions of other things I should do next time I go. Also, if you like the content of what you just experienced, please consider subscribing and liking this video. Thank you for watching. Stay curious. I look forward to seeing you on my next journey.